Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Radio with TV's Tim Stack. Now here's the host of the show, a man who once shared a bottle of vodka with Rodney Dangerfield while they were filming the movie Back to School. It's TV's Tim Stack. Yay me! TV's Tim Stack. We got a big show today. We're running late, which we don't even need to explain why, but I'll just quickly tell you the Rodney Dangerfield story from the film Back to School. I had a kind of a famous line in the movie, which was, "I was just enjoying your wife's Klimt." And then Rodney says a line, and a lot of people just really love that scene. They love that scene. They talk about, but what they don't know is that night it was Rodney's birthday, the night we shot, and somebody presented Rodney with a gallon of Stolichnaya, which had just invaded this country. Stolichnaya had just come here, and it was like, oh my God, you got Stolichnaya. Was so hard to get this vodka. Now it's just like you can find it at CVS. It's nothing. But at the time, anyway, the two things that happened was both the gallon of vodka we shot all night was done by the morning. Also, this very attractive woman showed up, I think, as a birthday gift for Rodney. And it was not to rehearse lines. I think it was more to do lines. But anyway, when morning, the sun came up, the shooting was over, and Rodney, the bottle was done, and the woman went home. Anyway, that's my Rodney Dangerfield story. So we're also joined today. This guest we've got is so important. It brought Greg Garcia back to the show. Greg Garcia, the Emmy winner for My Name is Earl, and his new creation that I had the chance to work on, Sprung, which is on Amazon Freevee. I've been talking about it. It's so funny and so good and so heartwarming. Anyway, Greg, you are here today, so thank you for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So this guest, I've never had a guest on the show who I didn't know. Part of that is because I'm lazy, and part of it is just I know people have great stories, so I want them on the show. But this gentleman, I met on the internet, and he does this show, TV Trash. I'll give you the introduction. His name is Chris Lee Moore. He's known for the show TV Trash, Cartoon Hero, and Huey's Animated Movie Reviews.
Well, those are colleagues of mine, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, please welcome Chris RowdyC Moore.
Yo, and hello, everybody, and Mr. Stack, or maybe I could call you Mr. Lampy, because I happen to know your voice acting history as well. I've actually done this internet reviewer shtick for about 13 years now, and this is the first time I've ever been called to task by anyone who was behind the scenes, the creative process of a show I dared review on my show. So I am considering this a great honor, to be perfectly honest.
Well, you are not. Let me tell you this. Now, first of all, do you want to be Rowdy, RowdyC? What do you go by?
You mostly just go by Rowdy. That'll just make things a lot easier. I know I have one of the most generic names in possible human history, so going by Rowdy just kind of fits for me.
Is that an homage to like Roddy Piper or Rowdy Yates?
You know what? It's just ironic that I did eventually become a wrestling fan in my later years in life, and Mr. Piper did become one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, especially reading up on the history. So it's just so it kind of fit that way. But no, it kind of originates from an act I used to do starting as a teenager at Texas Rangers baseball games, where I created this entire character who would go out, stay in the bleachers, dressed in full baseball uniform, blow horns, wave towels, mock play along to the Cotton Eye Joe during the seventh inning stretch, and I called him the Rowdy Ranger.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Or the Ranger Rowdy. It was picked up from the name of the reunion Rowdies, as the Dallas Mavericks fans of the 80s used to be called. So one thing just kind of spilled over into another once I more or less evolved that persona into an internet personality as well.
I'll bet you had the whole bleachers to yourself. I'm just guessing.
Depends on what time period it was. It was too much of the 2000s. Yeah, it was kind of like that. 90s, it was a bit better.
So,
nice.
Richard Dugan is here, the engineer, and Jeremiah Higgins is here, our producer. So can we go to clip number 2, Dr. D? So clip number 2, this is how let me tell you, let me back it up a little bit. So on my computer, I have a Google search for a few things, one of which is Son of the Beach. And usually what comes up is a child of the Beach Boys has either been arrested for DUI or run over or OD, it's just like something it has to do with the child of the Beach Boys. But then one day, all of a sudden, this thing comes up, TV trash. It's like, what is this guy? So I click it. Anyway, this is a little clip of what I heard. Dr. D.
The universe can have a really sick sense of humor. Sometimes the stars just align perfectly, whether you want them to or not. Because all things considered, there really couldn't be anything else for the lucky number 13th anniversary of TV trash. Because this just might be the worst. This is the bottom of the barrel. This is almost everything wrong with so many bad TV shows wrapped up into one big package of uber suck. This is Son of
the Beach.
Son of the Beach.
That was fantastic. Imagine my wonder when I click on this thing and a review of Son of the Beach comes up, and this is how I met RowdyC, Dr. RowdyC. Rowdy, just go by Rowdy. So, first of all, we'll get into Son of the Beach later. And this is what I brought in Greg Garcia, because I immediately sent this review to Greg Garcia. Rowdy, just you met Greg, right? He won an Emmy for My Name Is Earl. Did you do some research on him?
I do know, in fact, that you eventually had a role in My Name Is Earl that almost could be like a parody of either yourself or your character in Son of the Beach. So yeah, I've got a few things about it. Never watched that much of My Name Is Earl, but know enough about it to know that it is a great honor to have had my series directed to one such an individual.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Well, he was as amused by your review as I was, so we brought him in here. So Rowdy, I keep calling you RowdyC.
No problem.
So you sort of explained, how did you get started? How did you find Son of the Beach? Because it's been off the air for 20 years.
Well, I'm not afraid to admit this. I watched some episodes back when it was airing.
Oh.
Back then I've always been like a TV junkie, especially back in my late teens and early 20s. And eventually I just start flipping through stuff on one way or the other because there were so many dang channels on TV even back then. And I find this show that so clearly is meant to be a Baywatch parody, and I guess I just kind of have a knack for sometimes getting drawn in to really bad parodies and stuff. And I just found myself watching it, just kind of laughing at how goofy and dumb this thing was. And to be perfectly honest, I am kind of surprised it took me 13 years to finally getting around to reviewing your show. It's almost like it got purged from my memory for quite a few years. But just keep in mind, that's one of my specialties, is going after adult-themed entertainment shows that I think that uses almost kind of juvenile humor. Keep in mind, my very first episode of TV Trash was reviewing the Stan Lee produced animated show Stripperella that was part of, Spike TV's adult entertainment block back when it relaunched itself as that. And that's kind of been the number one thing that I go after mostly in my anniversary shows. I've done all the Pam Anderson shows, save for Baywatch. I did all the other Spike TV animation shows. So I often try to look for stuff of the really adult themed stuff that kind of uses just really kind of dumb sex or humor like that type of stuff.
Well, thank you.
So basically your wheelhouse, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, this stuff, you wouldn't believe how many bad adult cartoons I've reviewed. There's been Alan Gregory, Brickleberry, The Nut Shack, Mr. Pickles, Gary the Rat. That's got one of the things I look to go to more than anything else to try to review because, yeah, that's just kind of my specialty. If it's not obscure stuff, I like to go after a lot of obscure stuff, absolutely. But then, yeah, if I can just tear into what I think is a really badly done animated show aimed at adults,
Yes,
I'm gonna take it.
That's your thing, huh?
Oh yeah.
actually, Rowdy, the reason you're here is I'm actually grooming you today to join my cult. So that's what this is about. So I want to play Dr. D. Can we play clip number 3? This is a short clip that it'll give us an opportunity to dive even deeper.
You have no idea how much I appreciate that so many of you have willingly endured this type of pain with me for 13 years. Stuff like this makes me wish I could go back in time and seriously reconsider my life.
There you go, my life. So we want to find out about your life.
Okay.
Like where did you, I see you're selling t-shirts behind you.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm going to be at Alcon Dallas this weekend selling a cup of both these versions of these shirts and of course my self-published novel Quest Seekers the Wormstone. So if any of your listeners are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this weekend, we'd love to see you drop by Alcon Dallas at any time.
Are you
Fantastic.
Why do I think you're going to have the same reaction there that the people in the bleachers at the Rangers game?
Oh,
You're going to empty the convention, Rowdy.
Mhm.
So okay, Greg, I know you've got some questions.
Well, I have 5. I wrote down 5 questions for you because I'm a fan. I want to know these 5 things. And then I actually had one other I added on. What is your favorite TV show, both currently and of all time? Because obviously you're very tapped in.
Oh, I made this very clear throughout most of my review shows. All time, my
You made
favorite
this really
TV
clear to
show
the judge.
is Alf.
Keep going.
Alf.
Yeah.
Alf.
Oh yes. He's looking for something. He's looking for some type of Alf doll or something right now.
talking.
I know that
I
absolutely.
think I have an Alf
I
fan.
see that look.
I was in an episode of Alf, Rowdy.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and find that one. Of course, one of my more disappointments about the show is that the unedited episodes have still never been released in any type of home media. It's kind of a passion project of mine. I got almost 2 passion products I want brought back: the full unedited episodes of Alf and Striped Chips Ahoy.
What?
Okay, fair enough. And if you could sit down and watch Alf while eating striped chips ahoy, that's great. No, I was looking for my Alf trading card.
Oh, that's a nice.
Yeah. I have a in mint condition Alf trading cards. And then, so what is the second part of my question is currently what is a TV show you're watching and enjoying very much?
I know it actually kind of ties into one of my other all-time favorite shows. One of the things I'm trying to watch as much of as possible is the relaunch, the more or less what I call a sequel series of Quantum Leap. Like, the number one reason I was wanting to turn into that show is because I actually did this. One of my videos was, while Alf and Quantum Leap were 2 of my favorite shows of all time, and they also had the 2 worst endings of all time, the way both those shows ended. So the number one reason I wanted to watch the new Quantum Leap series was, if they're gonna finally resolve and fix the way that show ended, I definitely want to see how they're gonna find a way to do that. So that's why I have been definitely a watcher of that show.
Okay. My next question: what'd you have for dinner last night?
Dinner last night, went to I just grabbed McDonald's because I was going back from selling my shirts at Trader's Village at Grand Prairie, Texas.
What's your standing order at McDonald's? What's your go-to at McDonald's?
Depends, either chicken McNuggets or filet of fish. It goes back.
Okay, one of the 2. Filet of fish. I like that. You don't meet a lot of filet of fish people. I married a filet of fish person. I'm on board. I like that. Okay, if you could create your own TV show tomorrow, unlimited budget, whatever it is, what is it?
We're coming up against the commercial.
Sorry.
For the other side. We're going to take our first break. I'm talking to Chris RowdyC Moore, who you can find him on at RowdyC Moore on Twitter, RowdyC.com. I believe that's right. TV Trash on YouTube. Got Greg Garcia here. His new show Sprung is on Amazon Freevee. I'm TV's Tim Stack, and that's who you're listening to. We'll be right back.
All right, here we go.
Son of the Beach premiered in March 2000 and was one of the first series to be part of Fox's spin-off cable network, FX. And if you don't already know what other show it was clearly meant to lampoon, congratulations on being born yesterday. Thus why it is so appropriate to make this an anniversary review, because this thing pretty much sums up 2 Pamela Anderson shows. It may very well be a Baywatch parody, but trust me, this thing might as well be a live-action stripperella.
I like how your voice always ends. Like, there's so much hatred for Son of the Beach.
Hey, yo, give credit to the late, great Gilbert Gottfried for being able to come up with that vocal tone.
Yes. Who was on Son of the Beach?
Oh, yes, I am well aware of that.
Okay. I've seen that episode a dozen times. That's how I hate it. Okay, I have a question. I want to find out about like your life. Like, are you able to make a living from your business of t-shirts and books, and like, do you have a day job?
Well, I more or less have a day job helping look after a number of places. Like, here's the thing. What I do is I do get some. I ended up quitting jobs like delivery services some years ago because it was basically mentally and physically draining me. I am willing to admit I've gotten some financial support from my family in exchange for the fact that I look after like places like the houses they've ended up buying and stuff and need some people to look after. But yes, this is some of the stuff I wanted to do like 3 years ago. We know what happened 3 years ago and how long it's taken me to get back. But now it's in a position where I am just now launching my own business of selling merchandise and trying to promote my shows to help increase my Patreon donations and everything. So I am at a definite point in my life where I'm looking to really, yes, kickstart myself with my own self-employed business.
Okay.
Fantastic. I like it. I'm getting one of those t-shirts. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely. I'm pretty sure there are links where you can pick them up on my website as well.
Okay, good. I'll be checking it out.
A link for this one though. Yes.
All right, I'll be checking it out.
Absolutely.
Now you also do you have a podcast too?
Well, it's second. It is secondary, but I do try to host a live stream every Sunday night around 8 p.m. Central Time. It's something I was inspired by another one of my colleagues who hosts a Monday night show called Radio Dead Air. His name is Nash Bozard. If you guys ever have time, I definitely recommend checking that out. That starts at 8 p.m. Central Time Zone as well, most Monday nights. And yeah, I tried to host my own. Mostly what I try to do there is I show some of my videos. I show some videos of my friends of mine to help try to promote them. I'll read books to them for stuff that I hope that can encourage people to go out and read some more as well. It's kind of a whole variety show type thing where I like to showcase other people's talents and abilities as much as I can.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Greg, you have another question?
Yeah, I have a couple more questions. So one was, if you could create your own TV show, unlimited budget, what would it be? What would your subject matter be? Drama, comedy, and what's
I'll tell you exactly what it is. It would be a comedic theme, a much more comedic themed version, but it would be more or less a full television series adaptation of one of my favorite video games right now, and that's RuneScape.
Okay,
I would make a RuneScape TV series.
That's hot right now. Wasn't The Last of Us a video game?
Yeah, I believe it is too. Yes.
Yeah, so good. All right, that's a good idea. All right, next question. Have you ever been arrested?
No, I have not.
Fantastic. I didn't think so.
Well, the night
what is your most prized possession, Rowdy?
It's in here my prized possession. It's actually a piece of the nets that I was allowed to cut down with the basketball team of my alma mater, the University of Texas at Arlington, when they finally won a conference championship and went to the NCAA tournament for the first time in history back in 2008. Because
they went to the big dance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was there in Katy, Texas when they clinched the Southland Conference Championship. And because I'd been that guy who had been in the stands yelling and screaming back when the head coach at the time was a player for them. So, yeah, they just but the team just told me to go up there and climb that ladder with them.
Absolutely.
And I took back
Absolutely.
a piece of nets with them. So yeah, that's definitely one of my prized possessions.
I can envision that happening for sure. And do you only review shows that you hate, or do you ever review shows you like?
Oh no! But I at first I put them in a subset that I called TV treasures. But yes, there are occasionally times where I will review something that is very obscure, but something I do think is very underappreciated and underrated that I want to introduce people to as much as possible.
Then I have two requests for you. If you ever have the time to review Sprung on Amazon. It's obscure in the sense nobody's watching it. Sprung on Amazon. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And then also, given what you kind of like to review the most, I hope you can dig up, if you've not watched episodes of Nightstand with Dick Dietrich, I'd very much like to see you review that as well.
Look, I definitely could give Nightstand a try. I will say this. One thing I don't do a lot of is review. So far, I've not really gotten into online TV series. Most of what I review is still, for the most part, what was originally on the terrestrial stuff. I may create a spinoff show eventually one of these days focusing on online shows as well. The only thing
Understood.
I think the only thing I've done that's full online is when someone may actually try to make a sequel series of The Greatest American Hero. I don't know if you've heard of one, Mr. Alan Ruckert, but he tried to create one a few years ago, and I did review that.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. You know, if you come across Sprung, maybe one day I'll get lucky and get your thoughts on it. However, Nightstand with Dick Dietrich, that was basic cable. That's not online. So that's one I highly recommend.
I'll take it one step further. It started out in syndication.
Okay.
RowdyC. Yeah. You can watch a bunch of episodes on YouTube.
I'll keep that in mind.
I think you'd enjoy reviewing that one.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, most of all, RowdyC, you get to see me again in it.
Yeah, I'll keep that for sure in mind.
So when you do, you know, you can use the previous vomit sound.
Well, we'll wait and see if you make me vomit on that one or not.
Okay. We could even go further than vomiting on Nightstand.
No.
Okay. So now so where do you live? Where do you live in Dallas?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. And your middle name is Lee.
Correct.
Okay. I'm always like Lee and Fort Worth. It's like I get into like Lee Harvey Oswald territory.
Yeah. Oh, but believe me, one of the things I've reviewed, if you just want to know, of course, I reviewed the JFK movie and and to follow up with reviewing, of course, the episode of Quantum Leap that was about Lee Harvey Oswald. Yes, so believe me, I'm well versed in the lore of the Kennedy assassination, as we may put it.
Okay. Probably stay with Son of the Beach. Than try to solve the Kennedy assassination. Though I think
he solved it, but go ahead.
And so does all this world of yours take place from your bedroom? Because in your opening titles, you kind of crawl out of a bed.
Yes. Now, if you want this, now first thing to keep in mind is this is kind of similar to what a lot of us in the what we call the internet reviewer genre used to do. I have more or less set aside an online world persona for me. If you want to just know this, my online character, as it may be, he does live with his own genie, who more or less, well, let's just say she's the reason he's able to financially survive so much. Though he's not willing to go full on. He's more or less kind of not as stupid as Tony Nelson as far as not being able to get financial help, but he's not going to go full on, give me a freaking castle. It's more like that. And that's how he also lives with his team of sentient plush cats who work as his producers and fight crime as ninjas as well. And the whole thing is, right now at the moment, yes, they currently live in a more or less bedroom apartment that is actually magically enclosed in a tent that resides in a trailer park in Anaheim, California. I may technically live in Fort Worth in real life, but my character currently lives in Southern California, slumming it in a trailer park built that's more or less a TARDIS, while he tries to review his videos and hope to make it in Hollywood one day.
That's a lot of backstory.
Oh, yes.
For a video that just hated Son of the Beach, but that's a lot more backstory than Son of the Beach ever had.
Well, if you want to see more about that, you just tune into my second video series, which is called Rowdy and Friends. That's where I mostly spun off into, instead of the reviews, showing all the crazy situations my online character and his buddies get into.
Okay, you've got an empire going. So,
oh yes,
we're going to take a second break. We're talking to Rowdy Christopher L. Lee Moore, aka Rowdy C. You can find him at rowdyc.com and at Rowdy C. And also joining Greg Garcia, creator of the show Sprung, which is you're going to watch, right? And you're going to review that show, right, Rowdy?
I'll try my best to get into it. It's on my list now.
We don't want to try. We want to do it, Rowdy.
That's all I can ask for.
Okay. Well,
and you can find him at Greg. What's your Twitter handle again? I have it written down somewhere.
Oh no, don't find me. I'm not looking for followers.
Okay, he's not on Twitter anymore. So we're going to take a break. You're listening to It's Radio with TV's Tim Stack, and we'll be right back.
Okay, here we go.
This is clip.
That was terrible. Where do we start? The dumbass her politically correct gag with the first caption?
Okay, we're talking to Rowdy Seymour. That was a little clip. So I want to start to get into your hatred for Son of the Beach because, again, I just love it. I love the fact that you found it. I love the fact that it's been off the air for 20 years and you're reviewing it. That, to me, is the greatest thing that we've come out of this. So you explained how you even used to watch it a little bit back in the day. Dr. D, can we play clip number 7? Can we play clip 7?
I think we can. Just one moment.
I
Skipped a bunch of stuff here, so let me go back here.
okay, hold on. We're gonna find clip 7.
Of the Beach, starring Jamie Bergman as B.J. Cummings, Roland Kickinger as Chip Rummel, Lila Arcieri as Jamaica St. Croix, Kim Hoya as Kimberly Clark, Michael Berenson as Steve the Dog, even more starring Lisa Baines as Mayor Anita Massengill, and starring most of all, Timothy Stack as Notch Johnson. Tonight's episode, with sex, you get egg roll.
Now, Rowdy, I don't know what to say. Those opening titles still make me laugh because we were trying to spoof Baywatch and Aaron Spelling television and all those things, which you point out in your review but I'm shocked that you didn't find that funny.
Well, to be perfectly honest, you list all those shows, and the first show that came to my mind that I thought you were trying to parry is a little show by the name of Police Squad.
Well, I'll tell you the story on that, okay? So when we were getting to first of all, David Zucker loved Son of the Beach, and he put me in Scary Movie 3 because of Son of the Beach. But it's interesting you say Police Squad, which I completely agree. So how Son of the Beach came together was we were Nightstand with Dick Dietrich, which you're going to hate, in your review, was on.
I can't wait.
Another show for me to do. And we were over at Dave Morgeson's house, who you talk about him in your review. And we watched an episode of Police Squad and we're laughing. It's so great. And we're trying to think, what can we do that puts me in the lead of something? And I had this idea called Son of the Beach, not for me to star in. And the guys, Jim and Dave, said, oh my God, that's the show. So when you say Police Squad, it's like, absolutely. But we weren't parodying Police Squad. We were sort of paying homage to it by doing that opening title. Anyway, I'd love your response on that.
Well, I mean, I guess if it is kind of a loving tribute, I can kind of respect that. Here's the one thing you guys probably should know more than anything else. Yes. The one thing is that for me and most of my colleagues, I've been in this whole internet reviewer racket, as I like to call it, which has been going on since about 2008. The characters we create to be our internet reviewers, we do kind of because it is kind of more embellished versions of ourselves. Is probably the best way to put it. Even if there's some things about a show that we may or may not like, while it still may be our honest, relatively honest perception of it, we will kind of turn up the volume on it for the entertainment purposes, of course. And so that being said, we watching the show, because in preparation for the review and everything, I did notice some things that definitely was contributing and trying to pay homage to things like Police Squad and whatnot. Although, obviously, I've said from the beginning, it's clear the show was meant to be a parody of Baywatch for the most part. It looked
that just so you know, that's how we pitched the show.
Oh, yeah. And believe me, when I was interested to learn some things as I was researching it, to find that you and David Morgeson were the more or less number one people behind it, while of course Howard Stern is the guy probably most associated with the show. I found out he was pretty much only like a bankroller of it for the most part. It looked like.
No, you're incorrect there, but it's not a big deal. The other guy we got to remember is a guy named, you talk about in your review, is Jim Stein, who had written for Carol Burnett. Part of your review too is you put Dave and me in categories of children's entertainment.
Well, I happen to know that Mr. Morgeson wrote the screenplay for a certain Disney Channel movie called Princess Protection Program that starred Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez. One of the movies that I actually have watched at one point in time. And of course, like I said, I know that you, Mr. Stack, voiced the character of Lampy in the Brave Little Toaster movie. So there is kind of some kind of interdimensional mishmash going on there, so to speak.
Or it almost sounded like we were too dirty to be doing children's entertainment. Like,
well, it's shocking. Let's put it that way. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think children should be protected from the likes of Tim Stack, and I agree with Rowdy on this.
On his side, Greg.
Listen, I see it as I see it.
So anyway, let's play. Can we play clip number 9, Dr. D?
Son of the Beach, starring Jamie Bergman as B.J. Cummings.
Did you hear that one already?
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay, here we go.
5 seconds, and you're giving me flashbacks to Ninja Turtles' next mutation. This does not bode well for you.
Mr. X, how's that new restaurant? Scrumptious, Johnny. Be sure to try the pot stickers. Little do they know, they won't be working in any sweatshops. No, but they'll be working up a sweat, all right. As prostitutes.
Okay, let's talk about this, Rowdy, because you really went off on this. First of all, we wouldn't, again, 20 years ago, we would not be doing a sex trafficking episode today. That just,
fair enough.
First of all, the entire show wouldn't be on the air today. So there's that. But I gotta say, one of the jokes, and maybe because it was my joke, was the idea of 2 Asian guys talking, but perfect English, but giving them subtitles.
I don't know. I guess it's just, I looked at that and I came up to
RowdyC.
Yeah, I looked at that, and that's one of the examples of guys like me and the internet reviewers. We think back to, of course, a very famous line that one Mr. Mark Hamill, who also appeared on your show as well. Mark Hamill spoke as the Joker in the Batman animated series. The line being, "If you have to explain a joke, there is no joke." And I don't know, just for one reason or another, that's the kind of vibe I got with that thing. If I can be perfectly honest,
You can be perfectly honest, but
Don't back off of him, Rowdy. I don't want to. I want to make sure you don't, just because he's begging for your approval, because he's so desperately begging for your approval. You stick to your guns, Rowdy. You like what you like. You don't like what you don't like, and that's it.
Aha.
Okay, but
Respect about you.
What about the joke where the ha-ha-has, as they get louder, the ha-has get bigger? That's a funny joke, RowdyC.
Maybe.
You're just doing it, Rowdy. You're just trying to make him Just tell him how
Yeah,
you feel.
maybe.
You're not a
if you're
fan
5
of the
years
man's
old.
humor. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. If he was
I feel like
5.
I've worked for this guy now before, where like I've been in a writer's room and the guy goes, maybe.
You know how sometimes you see a comedian or you see somebody and you go, finally, this guy is saying what we're all thinking. That's how I'm feeling about Rowdy right now.
Oh yeah. And hey, I'll just let you know this. Like, if you guys want to get a general idea of what my preference of comedy is, I just released a video in the last few weeks titled "Old Man Dan," an episode of a new ongoing series I want to create. The first episode is titled "Leave Me Alone." It's on my YouTube channel, and probably can find a link to it on the website. So if you want to check that out, you can go right ahead. You can see what maybe I've been inspired by.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to hear this. I'm shocked that when I said what kind of TV show you would want to do, you were doing reboots of things instead of your Old Man Dan idea, which sounds great. I assume "Leave Me Alone" is some kind of pun. I believe there's some landscaping or something in this video. Or
oh yes, you can just check it out for sure.
We are, buddy. We're simpatico. I'm right there in your brain with you. I can't wait to see this thing.
Okay.
I'm going to give him your email address, Greg. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
Lots of pitches.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, so how are we doing on time, Dr. D? This is okay, good. So let's play clip number 11. Can we do that one, Dr. D? Clip number 11.
Oh boy, that takes us. Oh, that's okay.
No, I am not some stuck-up prude when it comes to all shows like this. If you think otherwise, go back and watch my review of VIP, which is practically the example of how to do a fan service parody show right. It's not easy to describe, but there is a very fine line to toe when making such a series. And the secret often comes down to making it look like the characters are taking everything seriously while making it clear that the show itself is not.
Okay. RowdyC, you should be a professor at a college teaching satire because you absolutely define satire perfectly. And
Wow,
I'm still at a little bit of a disbelief that you don't find Son of the Beach to be satire.
Well, I guess I might call it satire. It just might not be very well done satire. That might be the best way to put it.
I think what Rowdy is saying, having said he liked Police Squad and stuff, I think he's saying he gets what you're doing.
Yeah.
He's not a fan of the execution of how you're trying to get people to laugh. He doesn't find you funny, Tim Stack.
I am shocked at this because so many people like Bug at Starbucks or in a department find me funny.
I know. Your close family and friends politely laugh at your jokes. And here's Rowdy, who just, I'm sorry to tell you and break it to you, not a fan.
I mean, yeah, look, I'm the kind of guy, maybe it's just not me. I'm the kind of guy who will like something like VIP or Police Squad or Phineas and Ferb even. But yeah, Son of the Beach, kind of not my thing.
I'm picking up on that. I'm picking up on that.
Okay, we're going to take our final break. We're talking to RowdyC Moore. You can find him all over the internet, and he's in some internet reviewer gang. That I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive on that. And Greg Garcia has joined us. And you're listening to It's Radio with TV's Tim Stack.
All right, here we go.
Stack, Morgeson, I'm sure you thought you were all clever in making a title sequence that flat out steals Police Squad's gag. So I'm going to save this as politely as I can. You couldn't carry Abraham's and the Zuckers' jock!
Yeah.
Oh,
him, Rowdy.
Rowdy, you didn't storm the Capitol, did you?
No, oh no. Look,
Very
I'm
angry.
the type of guy who would make a parody video about people storming the Capitol.
You should
And
do
it
that.
would be amazing.
I would love to see that. I'll play a part in it.
Hell, I did a video parodying the people who tried to storm Area 51 a few years back, if you may remember that incident.
I do
remember
that,
the
yes.
incident. I don't remember the video.
I'll try to hopefully dig that one up for you. It's in one of my Rowdy and Friends sketches.
Okay.
Great.
I don't think anybody's worked in the industry more than you, Rowdy. Like you have so much material.
Oh, yes. If I think something is funny, I'll try to make a video of it as soon as I can. It's just trying to scrap as much as I can.
Now, in Dr. D, can we play clip number 13?
13, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Stack, Morgeson, and Stein would team up again many years later to make Red, White, and Blue, a 2021 TV movie that I can find absolutely no information on whatsoever. And I'm counting that as a blessing because, trust me, I don't think I want to see anything written by that trio ever again. Son of the Beach sucks!
I think you're making your point, Rowdy C.
Believe me, if I ever get my hands on Red, White, and Blue, I will definitely give that thing a look over for possible review as well.
Good luck.
It's on the internet. You can go on YouTube. We posted it.
I'll look for it for
You know
sure.
what it is,
have to look
Rowdy
for it.
C?
I'll try and see if I can find it for sure.
It's animated. You might like it even more.
Oh boy.
Look at that look. Oh my God.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Well.
I'm wondering if you could tell me just quickly what the novel is about and where we can find it.
Oh, this thing. This
Yeah.
is a all the way say the thing. If you liked Xena Warrior Princess and the Shrek movies, this book may be right up your alley. And you can find a link to purchase it on RowdyC.com. It's available in paperback and Amazon Kindle form, so you can get either copy one way or the other. Like I said, I also will be for sale at Allcon Dallas if anybody is out there this coming weekend. And like I said, I'm now regularly selling it at Traders Village in Grand Prairie, spot 1065. So definitely, I encourage anyone to check this thing out. It's got a second volume that I'm trying to get into paperback as soon as possible as well.
Say that spot number.
Okay. Spot 1065.
Yeah.
Spot 1065. Who is in 1066?
Haven't figured that out yet. I've only been there a couple of weeks, still getting to know the locals there.
Okay. Do other people there sell material like you, or they just sell like
a lot of people sell shirts. And I don't know how many people sell books as well, but I always try to make it a selling point that everything here is a RowdyC exclusive. So like it's all original creations of mine. So you're getting definitely extra level of quality there.
And do you sign things for people?
Oh, absolutely. I will definitely sign copies of the book for anyone who buys it for sure.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. I'm getting a book and a T-shirt for sure. I'm definitely getting them.
Okay.
Absolutely.
There's one. This was worth it. So, Dr. D, how are we doing on time?
4 minutes.
We got 4 minutes left with you, Rowdy C.
Very well.
So I do want you to watch Red, White, and Blue because I'd like to hear your opinion of it. It's animated.
I definitely want to look for it for sure. I'll try to hunt it down.
Okay. The other thing I was going to talk about was you really go off on the episode titles in your review, which again, like that was part of the fun, was coming up with episode titles like Two Thongs Don't Make a Right, stupid stuff like that.
I will grant you this much.
Yes.
At least you do kind of get creative with the titles.
Yes.
Which is more than I can say for the people who created the episode titles of Friends.
Right.
Yes, the one that happens, the one where that happens. And you got to admit, I think, Rowdy, as the man behind Leave Me Alone, you're not above a nice pun in the title to have a little fun there, right?
I never claimed to be superior to anybody in that category as well.
Oh, no,
I can be just as bad for
simpatico.
sure.
Simpatico, I meant.
You know what they say? It takes one to know one.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Now he's turning on you, Greg.
Oh no,
No,
hey,
we're
I'm not
buddies.
turning on me. Just letting them know. Hey, I ain't no angel myself.
I hear you. You're not sanctimonious. You're not holier than thou.
And your life, is there a Mrs. Rowdy or a Mr. Rowdy in your life?
I am pretty much, I like to say I am in a commitment to my fans. I just like to devote right now, I want to try to devote as much of my life to my viewers and I kind of look at this as, this is my way of trying to contribute to society and find ways to entertain people and make them happy. And that's kind of where my commitment is, at least at this point.
That makes sense. And
yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Well, I'll just say this on that. I just want to say before we end up, because I know you're going to wrap up soon, Tim. I just want to say I think you're doing a marvelous job of that. I have enjoyed very much meeting you and talking to you. I've enjoyed watching your reviews. They're very entertaining. I think to be able to write and finish a book is a huge accomplishment that not many people can do. I hope you're very proud of yourself with that.
I am.
And I've very much enjoyed meeting you, and I wish you nothing but luck in the future. And I'm going to keep watching some of your reviews because, like I said, I think you're a good dude from what I can tell, and you're very entertaining.
Well, it's a very great honor to meet you. I will say that yes, Quest Seekers is probably my what I'm most proud of. And just keep in mind, I try to post a new video every Monday on. If I can get it on YouTube, I do. It's going to be on my website one way or the other. Some of them are available via my Patreon, which can be joined for as little as $1 a month. Just keep that in mind for anybody out there who would be willing to do so. And yeah, I just guy trying to do as best he can to try, if I can make people happy. I like to think I'm doing something good with my life.
Okay, let me ask you this, Rowdy. Is there anything you want to promote?
Well, yeah, I think I've got to take care of a lot of that. I've got the book Quest Seekers
Base
here,
1065.
book my shirts, and just
Base
like I said, if you're here at
1065.
Alcon Dallas, that would be great.
I'm curious to come to your swap meet or whatever it is. I would like, first of all, I'm fascinated by swap meets. I think I talked about once on this show about going to an autograph show and lasting about a half an hour and leaving because it was so, just couldn't take it. But I am fascinated by you. I'm picturing you at a swap meet selling your stuff. It's a great, wonderful image. And like Greg, I only wish I love your review of Son of the Beach.
Glad to hear it.
I love that you hate the show so much. It sort of goes along with when Greg, I got the chance to write on My Name is Earl and then got the chance to be in it. And part of the fun of that character was of playing a drunken version of myself was making fun of myself because it makes me laugh more than jokes at me. So I'm really appreciative that you did it. I'm appreciative that you're here today talking to us and wish you the best of luck with all your stuff.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Stack.
Okay. So thank you for being here today. Greg Garcia, thank you. We've been talking to RowdyC Moore. You can find him at RowdyC.com. Where else can we find you? Go, Rowdy. Give your
just at goes internet at Twitter. I'm on Facebook at Chris Lee Moore. Like I said, mostly RowdyC.com is the primary place to go to for most of my videos and everything else. I try to put everything on there for one simple place to go to for everything. That's probably the best place to go.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again for being here, Greg. Thank you again. Watch Sprung on Amazon Freebie. Thank you, Jeremiah Higgins, our wonderful producer who does all this, Dr. D, the engineer. And we will see you next time on It's Radio with TV's Tim Stack.
Okay.